Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in today. My name is Iris, and in this episode, I'm talking to you about healing relationship shame and guilt. Now, I've encountered many women who carry around a tremendous amount of shame and guilt over past experiences that they are still trying to come to terms with in their present day life. And their feelings of shame and guilt are consuming their thoughts and fueling anxiety with the fear of possible and unlikely repercussions or backlash in the future. It's also fueling their depression because they're replaying the experience in their mind and trying to figure out how to fix it. So anxiety starts when we worry about the future, and depression starts when we worry about the past. Now, you're an intelligent person. You know intellectually that you can't go back in time and you can't bend time to fix what's happened in your past, but your ego works very diligently to protect you. Your ego doesn't try and solve problems. That's not the job of the ego. The ego's job is to keep you safe, even though safe is anxiety and depression inducing. So you really have no way to change the experiences, choices, and decisions from your past. So what does it really mean when you are feeling shame and guilt? Well, shame and guilt exists when you are judging yourself. It's like you're putting yourself into court to be judged every day, except there is no jury or no defense, and you are the only judge and jury. There's only you in your own inner court, and the verdict is always the same. You somehow deem yourself as being wrong or unworthy, not good enough, or somehow bad. But this is simply not true. And if you were to give yourself a moment to ponder your own inner court, to notice the things that you say to yourself and the judgment you have about yourself, you can feel that there is no love there for yourself. Only judgment and criticism and condemnation for yourself. And I don't want you to feel this way. And I know that you don't want to feel this way either. So I have a few words of encouragement that I hope will help you. Everybody has made mistakes in their lives. Sometimes mistakes come with a heavier consequence, but all mistakes made serve to help you understand yourself better, and they also highlight the potential to change the things about yourself that need more love, so the shadow or the fear can be brought to light. There is love, and then there is everything else that's rooted in fear. So when you have a negative experience and go through tough times or situations in life, it's an opportunity to shed love or light to the parts of yourself that need healing. And that's big. It's shadow work, and sometimes it's a really awful experience to have to go through. But when you allow yourself this time, you will be much stronger and happier for it on the other side. And it would be easy for me or anyone to say, just let it go. If it were that easy, you would have already done it a long time ago. So I suspect you just haven't learned the tools to help you with that yet. And that's what I'm going to help you with today. Something that you might not be aware of is that it is really hard to just let go, because humans like to have attachments to our past, because subconsciously we create an identity around the experiences that we've had and what those experiences mean to us. So letting it go means we need to let go of who we thought we were. And if we aren't that, then who are we? And that's scary because it's a loss of an old identity, even when that old identity caused a great deal of discomfort and pain. So part of the problem then becomes that you give the experiences that you have a meaning. And with the low vibration associated with shame and guilt, the meaning that you most likely have given those experiences and yourself is something like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve something, I don't deserve love, I don't deserve money, I don't deserve a higher paying job, I'll never amount to anything, I'm not worth the skin I'm in, they were right, I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, whatever it is that you heard, experience, gave meaning to at some point. And when these thoughts you think about yourself, they become your beliefs about who you are, and then you start to align your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions to match that, and it becomes who you are, and an identity is formed for you that also includes a story about you. So the first part to healing the shame and the guilt is to consider what was happening in your life at the time. As an example, I know one young woman who was in a highly emotional and abusive relationship, and she was continually told how stupid she was, how she didn't deserve to be in the professional career that she had gone to school for. She was told that she wasn't good at her job, that she had nothing of value to bring to the relationship, that she had nothing to contribute to conversations. And her partner at the time constantly threatened her by saying things about her that she thought would threaten her ability to make money, to make new friends, and to really just live a joyful life. She was under so much emotional distress that she became confused, as you can rightly imagine, and she started experiencing high levels of anxiety. No one can be their true selves when they are under such extreme distress. And we also don't make good decisions for ourselves either. We react rather than taking time to respond. And our nervous system is in so much constant state of heightened emotions. And although the experiences that this young woman had during this relationship, which ultimately caused her to look for ways to maintain her sanity, they weren't catastrophic that had extreme consequences, but the meaning that she gave to those experiences she had and then things that she heard through the relationship created a tremendous amount of shame and guilt. So I'm really happy to say that she is no longer in this abusive relationship and that she is on her healing journey now. Just a side note here, I believe that if we don't take time to reconnect and heal ourselves from our past experiences, that we actually take that luggage from one relationship into our next relationship. And not all relationships have to be highly toxic in order to do some healing and reconnecting to ourselves. But I always believe, and I strongly believe, that we need to take a little bit of time just to ground ourselves and to reconnect and to have a look at the past relationship, who we were being in that relationship, what we learned about ourselves, because I also believe that with every relationship we have, that there's an opportunity for us to learn something about ourselves. And when we don't take time to do this, and we don't take time to heal and integrate those experiences, that we set ourselves up oftentimes to repeat karmic cycles so that eventually we learn the lessons that we need to learn. And, it doesn't take years to heal. It can be as short or as long as it's needed, but I believe it does help us to have a healthier and stronger relationship with ourselves, which in turn creates happier and healthier relationships with others. So have compassion for what was going on in your life at the time, because you're always doing the best you can with where you're at and the skills and the tools that you have available to you at the time and that you are willing to use. And, sometimes we know things. We have an inkling, we have a bit of intuition that pops up, and we don't listen to it because we aren't ready to act on that intuition, and that's okay. That happens to everybody. So that's what I mean by, we have things available to us, but we're not always willing to use it at the time. Try not to have any judgment about that. Just, it was what it was, and, the whole process is pointing you forward in your journey of life. So the second part to healing that shame and guilt is that to know that nothing has any meaning other than the meaning that you give to it. So when we talk about the meaning that you have given an experience and how to change the story and identity you have created around that, is to look at how you are giving a meaning to your past experiences that is keeping you anchored in your past. It also it actually prevents you from moving forward. And you don't necessarily have to be feeling, let's say, guilt or shame to change the meaning either. The same tools that I'm going to share with you shortly also helps you to release things that have happened to you in the past, or experiences that you've had in the past that you've formed subconscious beliefs around about who you are and what you deserve and what you're capable of manifesting. And oftentimes those are things from your childhood that you have no subconscious awareness of, but you are somehow created a belief and a story and an identity around that. It also helps with letting go of a relationship because it gives you a perceived sense of security or stability or comfort or something else. That experience, those experiences, they mean something to you, and we create identities around who we are because of it. So step one in this process is to ask yourself, what was the experience and what story do you tell yourself about who you are now because of it? So if we use the young woman's story above, the story that she tells herself is that she's not good at her job, that she picked the wrong profession, that she was probably never good at it, that she has nothing good to contribute to conversations or to any relationship, and that she has no life purpose anymore. And sometimes we need to just take a moment and stop and make a connection between our experiences and what we tell ourselves about who we are because of those experiences. And this really requires us to step outside of our comfort zone. It really is inner work. And the second step to this is decide that you want to create a new identity and a new story about who you are and what you want. This part, I will admit, takes a lot of your will and your inner strength to no longer want to live in an old identity and the pain around that past and that old identity. So ask yourself, who do you want to become? And depending where you're at mentally and emotionally, you might have no awareness of who you want to become. It might be unfathomable to you to even to consider you being somebody else. But try and stay with this process, and really, allow yourself to calm yourself through meditation and really contemplate, who do you want to be? What do you want to have in your life? Do you want to be that person who knows who she is, who is able to express herself fully and completely without fear of judgment from others or being liked? Do you want to love yourself? Really have a lot of love and compassion for yourself and know who you are, even though you're not perfect. And I know a lot of people place a lot of value on perfection, the perfect hair, the perfect teeth, the perfect body, the perfect weight, the perfect amount of money in the bank, all of those things. But, you're perfect exactly the way you are. All of those other things, they're really, really great things to have if it's important to you, but it's not who you are, the true essence of who you are. And do you want to be somebody who knows their value and their worth? And it's really important, once you have a sense of who you would like to become, you can then start to declare who you want to be, and then you look for ways to become that person. And it could look something like taking a course, leaving an unhealthy relationship, leaving old friendships behind. That's part of the process too. Sometimes the relationships and friendships that we're in keep us anchored in our old story and in our own identity. So leaving people behind is sometimes part of this process. It's sometimes part of this process. You might need to get a mentor or a coach to help you along the way. It might mean moving from one location, one house to another house, or a state or province to another state or province. It also could mean moving to an entirely different country. And it could mean getting rid of things that no longer add value to your life. Sometimes it's things that have sentimental value that also keep you anchored into your past. And this has to do with the smaller things like decluttering old clothes and, just getting rid of things that really were part of your past experience, but no longer support you in who you are becoming. And, I believe that everyone wants to be powerful within themselves, and I believe you are that powerful person. So I hope that this information has been helpful to you. If you're interested in learning more about me and the work that I do, go ahead and take a look at my website, irissirianni.com. If you liked this recording, go ahead and like it. If you feel somebody else could benefit from the information here, go ahead and share it out. And until we meet again, I'm sending you so much love and so many blessings to becoming the person that you want to become. And until I see you next time, take good care.